I should wait. Now the dogs are gonna go crazy. Yeah, look at that. Go live, and 3 seconds later, the dogs are going nuts. All right. Can you hear them? Too bad, or
Not horribly.
all right.
How do I?
Well, this will be a much different stream than I typically do. Typically, you'll see me in the shop, so I'm streaming with my buddy Brad, BComMedia, who also streams. This is exactly how you'll see him on his stream, though.
If I figure out how to do it.
If you figure out how to do it.
uh, Host.
Oh, okay. I forgot. Forgot you were hosting. Oh, these dogs.
Oh wait, can I just slash command it? Oh, I can. I can just slash command it in my chat. Hey, now I'm hosting you.
Hey, Biscuit Meg, how are you? This is gonna be a 2 off. I don't know that we're gonna do this in one day, but now this is gonna be talking about football. I'm not sure if you're familiar that they play the game of football. That's a joke. Sorry. So you're set.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, and you can see my stream.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, so Brad and I are football enthusiasts. We have next to no knowledge of anything football related other than we watch it on Sundays. But we both enjoy gambling a little bit. For the most part,
I didn't even look at odds. I didn't even look at odds yet.
I more prefer to pick season totals. I do the same for baseball. Kind of expecting whether a team's going to be any good or not. So we had the idea.
How much money did you lose on the Orioles?
None. I missed. I was too late getting bets in for baseball, which is good because I would have missed on the Brewers. I would have gotten the Royals because I knew that they were going to be garbage.
Well, yeah.
But last year I placed 3 season total bets and I hit on 3 of them, and I just narrowly missed San Francisco. I think they were at 11 games. I think they won 10.
Was it last year or the year before? I put like $25 in and bet the over-unders on every team. The season total, the win total over-unders on every team. And really? I think I pretty much split the pack. I think I went like 18 and 14.
Okay.
And made like $8.
Biscuit Meg, you have just as much knowledge and introspective as we probably do. Putting money on Tom Brady.
Always a good thing to do. It's a smart bet.
Spoiler alert: Brad is doing that this year also. I am not.
Money on Tom Brady.
Yeah. Yeah, last year the 49ers was the one that I missed. I had them at over. It was either 10.5 or 11, and they only won 10. But they made a pretty good run toward the end of the season. But I hit. I had the Packers over. I had the Raiders over, and I had Seattle under last year. All right. So we're kind of, the way we broke this down is we're just kind of going to go through these division by division. I had a chance to look through these. I don't know if you looked through mine too much, but we definitely don't agree on pretty much anything, which is not a good sign for probably either of us, actually.
Yeah, but it's a pretty good topic point or talking point then if
Yeah.
we're just not agreeing on much.
Yeah, looking for you to talk me off of some of these that I have a strong opinion on. Uh,
I don't know if I can
or
convince you on
or
anything.
maybe talk me into something. I don't know.
Win totals. Here we go. Okay.
But so I think the first game is September 8th. So you still have all the way up until, I think, is that a Thursday or is that
Yeah, they
Sunday?
open on the Thursday night game.
Yeah. So you've got until next Wednesday basically to do any season total bets.
Um. Yeah. Open the season openers, the Rams and the Bills.
Right. It's supposed to be the Super Bowl, right? Or
Uh.
whoever the Super Bowl players were.
Yeah, but the Bills weren't in the Super Bowl last year. It used to be. They stopped doing that though. I'm pretty sure last year it wasn't either. I'm pretty sure last year's season opener was like the Jags and somebody.
No,
Looking
because
at
it
it.
was. I'm pretty sure every year they do whatever the Super Bowl was the previous year. But
Was it
either way,
2020?
so
Yeah. Oh no. It was the Cowboys Buccaneers was the season opener last year.
so that's got
The
it
Cowboys were.
should have been Buccaneers Chiefs if that would have been the
Yeah.
case. Well, you
I
had
think
half of it, I
sometimes it
guess.
just falls. I think sometimes it just falls apart.
Probably depends on
Or
whether
is it
those
just
teams are
the
playing
Super
their
Bowl winner
divisions.
plays? The Super Bowl winner opens up because the Rams, the Chiefs, or I mean the Bucks. Yeah, the Bucks won the year
Yeah,
before.
and this year the NFC West plays the AFC East. So
So it
I
lines
mean
up. Yeah.
they would be playing in the season anyways. So so we'll start off. I'll let you go first. Kind of go through what you had for the AFC
Oh boy.
East. Get your
Um.
spectacles on.
Yeah, I just need to full screen it. I mean, yeah, this one's pretty easy because I mean the Jets are going to be bad again, and Zach Wilson's going to be hurt for I don't know how long he's expected to be out. I think he dodged a tear.
Oh, I didn't know he got injured,
Yeah, like week 1 or 2 of the preseason.
which I
Um,
watched none of.
well, I didn't watch any either. It's just uh Adam Schefter tweets.
Okay, yeah,
Um, he walked off. They were afraid he tore something. He had a bone bruise and he did tear a meniscus. 2 to 4 weeks, they said, and that was August 13th.
yeah,
So
but
he might make it back for. He might miss week 1.
you're still talking 4 weeks before they. Nah,
Yeah.
at least 3 or 4 weeks before he's up to speed. But
Yeah. So, and I mean, is Joe Flacco that much worse
they
than
start off
Zach Wilson?
against Baltimore, Cleveland, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh. I mean,
They could.
I don't think
Yeah.
any of those teams are great, but I mean, I have. Oh, that's
They
right.
open.
I actually don't have them winning a game, so um, I
Oh, they're
I
for against you guys or for you.
I I don't think that they're gonna go over, but
Oh, I think they can take the Browns. The Browns don't scare me.
they're definitely not gonna win 5 games, 6 games.
Oh no.
So
Um, the Pats. I don't really think they go 7-10. I mean it's Bill Belichick, so he always finds a way to win games. But just the way I was choosing games, um, just matchup wise, they play a decent amount of tough opponents this
yeah,
year.
yeah.
I think I can go by team on my list.
I think AFC East
Yeah, here we go.
plays
But they play they play the
AFC
AFC
North.
North and
Yeah.
the NFC East. No, they don't play the NFC or the NFC North. They don't play the NFC North. They only play Green Bay and Minnesota. I
but
I
they
mean, they're
play
gonna
the
get
NFC.
swept by the Bills.
Yeah, they play the NFC East though. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think they get. I think I have them a little bit better than you do, only by a couple games. But um, yeah, I think they're a mediocre team. I I think they're on the right path. I think they're
Oh, I don't even
building.
think they're there yet. I think they're on still on a downswing.
Um, I
I
I
think
like
Bill
their.
Belichick, from what I'm not hearing, but the opinions of people that I know that are Patriots fans, they're starting to lean for Bill to be out.
I think they've got a good quarterback, or will be good. Um, I don't think he'll be great, but I think they're on the up.
The realtor.
And last year they won 10 games, so I don't see that they got any worse than last year.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. I had them at 9 wins, pretty much right at the um, pretty much right at the over under. So I don't
Yeah,
have a
I mean
strong.
it wouldn't surprise me. It's like I said, it's still Bill Belichick, so he'll pull out random wins. Wouldn't surprise me if they end up splitting the Buffalo series.
Right.
Like it's just one game. I mean, think about they beat them in the towards the end of the season last
Yeah.
year in the bitter cold in Buffalo. It was like a 9-3 game or something like that where no
I
touchdowns were scored.
I have them splitting with Buffalo too. Yeah.
I just think it's tough. Where do they play Buffalo? They play Buffalo.
Well, they'll play them at both home and away.
Yeah, Thursday, December 1st and Sunday, January 8th. So that January game is in Buffalo. They're both going to be bitter cold games.
Both of those I would not want to attend.
Yeah. Well, one's a Thursday night, so I definitely don't want to attend that one. They the Pats play back-to-back Thursday night games.
I didn't know that they could do that.
Week 12 and 13, they play the Vikings on Thanksgiving, and then
Oh, okay. Okay.
their actual Thursday night game. So they have a long break, but the Dolphins are a tricky one. They have a good defense. I like their defense a lot. Um, but I don't believe in Tua much at all.
So I
He's got a
just
noodle.
yeah, just initially going into it before I even looked at any games, I thought the Dolphins would be better. I think
You
they're
have
good.
that entire division. You have weak, except for the Bills.
Well, I think they are playing. I think the whole AFC East has a really tough schedule. Um, because like the Dolphins, I have them losing against Baltimore,
Mm-hmm. Buffalo.
Pittsburgh. Well, I mean, in the division for the Dolphins in the division, I basically had them split.
Oh,
But then losing to Baltimore, losing to Cincinnati, losing to Pittsburgh, Cleveland,
I had them
Chargers,
beating
Green Bay.
Pittsburgh. The only reason I have them taking Pittsburgh is just because I don't know the quarterback situation, and it
Right,
makes me
right.
uneasy because Mitch Trubisky. I mean, I've watched him a lot. I'm a Vikings fan, so I got to see him
You beat up on
twice
them
a
a
year
ton. Yeah.
for 3 years or something. But
Bitch Trubisky. Yeah. No,
um,
in general, I think the Dolphins are going to be an okay team, but I think all their non-conference games, they have really tough opponents. They've got the AFC North, and then you've got at least a couple teams from the NFC North. I think they
I just
lose to
like
Green Bay.
I like
They
their new
lose.
coach, and they have the pieces. I mean, I think their new coach was the OC for a team with a bad quarterback that went to a Super Bowl and then two NFC championship games.
Sure. Yeah.
So,
It wouldn't surprise me if the Dolphins are better than that 5 wins that I have them at.
plus he
Um,
has his favorite running back on his roster again. Raheem
but
Mostert's there now too, but
sure. I just To me, actually, the Dolphins being under is probably one of the plays that I'll go with. Um, I don't
What's
think that
their
they get to 9
line?
wins. At least as of a couple weeks ago, they were 9 wins.
Oh, here we go. Miami's over/under's 8.5. Yeah.
So it went down. That's tough. That's actually a kind of a big half a point because the under you get one less win now.
Yeah. Well,
Even
and
if you go
Vegas is also. I mean, they have that set at 8.5, but they're favoriting the over to hit because the odds are what under 135 and then over 115 for the under.
yeah, is it
So
is the under minus 135?
the over's minus 135. The under's plus 115. So
Okay,
they're
yeah,
they're
yeah,
they're favoriting the over just by the
yeah.
line
You got to put extra money on the Dolphins to
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 go
go
over
under.
just to make some money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's probably okay.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know.
you, you'd you'd
I
love to have
like
that extra half a game.
I like the new coach. I like the defense. Um, they like to they get a lot of turnovers. I think they were like top 5 or something in interceptions and fumble recoveries last year. Um, but that offense is so shaky.
I think the offense is going to be
Oh
improved.
well, but Tyreek Hill is going to be like Debo Samuel was for the or
I
is for the Niners. They're just going
well,
to
but
dump off and let his speed go.
I don't I don't think
Yeah,
I don't think I don't think Tua is going to be able to hit Tyreek the same way
not in the
that
stretches.
right the same way that Patrick Mahomes did.
Well,
Like
that's why I'm saying I think he's going to be like Debo, where they're going to use him as like a gadget running back almost,
if he's
and
willing
they're
to
going
make
to
that change,
design
yeah,
screens and stuff just for him to get the ball in his hand and then use his speed instead of using his speed to beat the corner
yeah,
open.
and their offensive line is suited for that.
Yeah,
It's just a matter of whether Tyreek Hill is going to
go.
transition into that type of role.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And I mean the Bills are good.
Yeah,
They're good. They get better every year, and
yeah, no doubt. I had him basically before I even looked at a game. I had him at even, maybe slightly plus from last year. But that line at 11 and a half. What is it today?
uh, Buffalo is still at 11.5.
Yeah, that's tough. Needing 12 wins to hit
It's
the
yeah,
over.
it's tough to put money on that kind of line. Now, if I were doing the same thing as last year and betting all 32 teams over under, I'd still probably take the over, but that's just because I have the wiggle room in
Yeah,
more guaranteed teams.
yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean, they open against the Rams, and then they've got Tennessee week 2.
they have the
Um,
Bengals at 9.5.
yeah.
Like
Spoiler.
that's
I
you just
I like
slam that over.
I like the Titans, so I think it's possible the Bills start the season 0-2. But then they've got well, and they play Kansas City week 6, and then Green
Revenge
Bay
game
week
for Pat
8.
Mahomes.
Yeah, I like the Bills. I think they're a good team. The same thing that I've said with the rest of the division. I think they have a tough schedule. Playing Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Kansas City, Green Bay all in a row. That's a tough stretch. I mean, they got the bye week in there, week 7, but right before the Green Bay game. But I mean, if they go 2-2 in those games, you're probably happy with it as a Bills fan.
Yeah.
But
Um, I mean, also a spoiler alert. I have the Bills winning the Super Bowl, so I just think
uh,
the defense is so stacked. Their wide receiver room is awesome. I think their weakest spot on the team is their running backs, and they drafted. Now, I'm a Dalvin Cook fan, but they drafted his little brother James Cook, who is almost a carbon copy of what Dalvin Cook is, and I took him in my in two of my fantasy football leagues towards the end of the draft, and I think by week 3 he's the starting running back.
Yeah. I think
Uh,
honestly,
uh,
I think the Bills' weakest point is probably
I'll
still at
pull it for you.
quarterback.
Cool.
Uh,
Yeah, I
and
go for it.
that's kind of I
I
mean,
don't think
Josh Allen
did they
is
add?
he's kind of proven it over the last couple of years. I think he's still one of the better quarterbacks in the league, but um, can he do it for a third year in a row?
Yeah, I want to see who did they. I'm just seeing who they added in free agency, if anybody. Wide receiver depth, a guard, backup, few D tackles. Oh yeah, they signed Von Miller. A 6-year contract with Von Miller.
God, how old is he? He's got to be mid-30s, right?
Yeah. And then they just signed, or no, they cut him. They cut OJ Howard when the season cuts happened.
So looking at your AFC East, do you have any plays here? I mean, you're right around that over underline.
Um, so I need to go back over what New England's at 8.5. Yeah, I'm too afraid to put money on New England because Bill Belichick can win 12 games, but then that roster can lose 12 games. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
he can turn a winning season with Matt Castle. So
Yeah. The Jets I would take the under on. I just don't believe they're quite ready yet. They lost like their star offensive
yeah,
lineman in preseason with a ACL or a knee injury that he's gone for the season already.
I just
And
yeah
I like Mekhi Becton. I think he's going to be a stud lineman if he can come back. I don't know how easy it is for a 300-pound guy to come back off of a torn ACL, but
not at 300 pounds. Yeah,
yeah,
I mean if he can
Miami.
shed 20 pounds, 30 pounds, that helps a lot. But
So FanDuel dropped Miami's line half a game
yep,
to 8.5, and I would take the over on that. I think 9 wins is pretty safe. I don't think they make a playoff appearance. I mean that 10-7 is favorable, but the Bills, I mean 16-1 might be much, but I mean
yeah.
they don't play a lot of people.
So I'm on the opposite side of you on the Dolphins. I think that's. I mean, looking at it now, looking at it with a 9 line, I'm probably solid under. 8.5. I have to think about whether
The
that would
one
change my
loss I
opinion.
have for the Bills is to the Chiefs. I have them starting the season 5-0. And that's Rams, Titans, Dolphins, Ravens, Steelers before they play the Chiefs and lose.
So you have them beating Green Bay after the bye.
Yeah, when we get there, I have no faith in Green Bay. I mean,
I
not
I actually don't either. Yeah, totally agree.
I think we'll get there, but
Yeah,
because good teams they play. They play the Rams and the Titans week 1 and 2.
yep.
I mean, I think they'll handle the Dolphins in Miami. It's not that tough. It's Josh Allen, so he's just gonna shred them. I can see the Ravens winning, especially in Baltimore. Week 4, they get everybody who's gonna miss the first 2 weeks ramped up. The Steelers, I think, is gonna be a cakewalk. Still don't know about their quarterback. I have the
I
Chiefs
honestly
taking them just because they need a loss. I mean, they're not going to
the
go 18 and 17 and 0.
the Steelers in Week 5 might be on quarterback number 2. I mean, in fact,
Well,
it's probably a
yeah,
good chance, right? Like they give
yeah. If they're
Trubisky
not
3 or 4
if they're
games.
not starting with Pickett, by
Yep,
then it's going to
yep,
be Pickett.
yep. I
Um,
think that's the case also. Yep.
and then yeah, Green Bay's nothing. The Jets, I mean, it's a cakewalk. Play your second string guys. I mean, they're a college football team right now. I like their talent, but They're not ready.
Right.
They'll beat my Vikings. They'll beat the Browns, and then they play the Lions. The Pats is the other one, so 15-2. So I can confidently say, in my opinion, the Bills will go at the very least 14-3.
Are you going to
In my
play the
opinion,
over?
yeah, I'll take the over at 11.5.
All right.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah,
I'm,
I think they're a good team. I think I tend to agree with you. I haven't really taken it out to the Super Bowl yet, but I think they're going to be a late round playoff team at least. Um, I think that Vegas has the line right where it needs to be. 12-win season is generally going to be the best team in the league or one of. I don't think they're the best team in the league. I think they're probably close. So going much more than 11 and a half, that'd be pretty tough.
who do you think's better than the Bills this season?
I think I have to say that the Titans. I don't think the Titans are the best team in the league. I think the Titans will have the best record.
Just by
Schedule.
schedule and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Well, I
Yep.
mean, that's why I have the Colts at 14-3. Their schedules, besides
Exactly
the
right.
Titans, are
Yep.
practically the same thing. I just like, I think even with his age, Matt Ryan is. I have the Colts at 14-3, losing both games to the Titans.
Yeah. So wrapping up on AFC East, I'm taking the Jets under easy.
Yeah.
I think they win a couple games. No way they get to 5. Not a chance.
I mean, I was generous giving them 3
Yeah.
wins.
I thought so too. All right, let's go to the AFC North.
I think Mormon magic,
Yeah. I think
Oh.
looking at AFC North for me, I think most of these teams, I think the Bengals are probably the most consistent. They had a good season last year. Joe Burrow showed well, and I think he'll continue to do so. I had him at 13 wins. That's probably generous.
Yeah, I mean,
But I think the rest of the division is just
not
500
good.
football for the most part. Yeah,
Well, that's
not bad, but
there's I have that with there's another division I have that, and I tweaked after I sent you my numbers. I tweaked because I looked at it and I was like, there's no because okay, I'll tell you, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the NFC South is garbage.
yes, agreed. Yep.
I think across the board, excluding Tampa Bay, you can't be garbage against 3 garbage teams. I guess you can, but I originally had them at like 16-1, but it's like because they don't play anybody besides a few teams. I tweaked it a little bit, but
Yeah, I mean for
anyway.
for Cincinnati, I basically have them beating. I have them splitting with Pittsburgh,
Yeah.
splitting with Cleveland, and losing to Kansas City and Tennessee. I mean, of the
What do
teams that they
I?
play, well, you probably have them losing to Tampa.
No, I have them beating Tampa. See,
Okay.
what do I have them at? I have them at 12-5. I have them losing. Okay, yeah, that's right. So 4-0, losing to Baltimore in week 5. Then they go on another 4-win streak into the bye week. Coming
Yeah.
out of the bye, they lose to Pittsburgh and then Tennessee.
Yeah, I
And then
have them undefeated going into the bye. So
they
I
win the next 3 and then drop back to back to AFC East New England
yep.
Bills, and then they close out the season taking the splitting the series with Baltimore.
So either way, we both agree they're getting off to a hot start.
I just they drop one game early.
Coming out of the bye, I've got them undefeated. So
So they
same.
at that point it's just what game do you think they lose to Baltimore? What game do you think they win in Baltimore?
I'm hedging a little bit. It wouldn't surprise me that they lose a game before the bye season or by the bye week, but generally speaking, they're going to come out hot. I think they falter in the middle of the season. But if they can fix that, they've got some
Yeah,
tough
that's
games late,
coming
though.
out of the bye. They're back-to-back losses for me.
Yep, same. I actually am losing 4 in a row out of the bye, but
Yeah, I know. One's a BP jersey, one's a real jersey. Yeah, the Klesko jersey. I was planning on it. Josh,
so,
that's a name for you. I'm borrowing Braves. We're borrowing Braves jerseys from my
oh
dad,
no,
and I'm wearing a Ryan Klesko jersey.
Ryan Klesko. God, that's way
Give me
back from the mid
one
'90s, right?
quick second, and then we'll pick up on the
Okay, yeah, no problem.
Ravens. I'm back.
You back? All right.
Also, I really like that. You're going. Did you do that on purpose?
Put the cat in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, as we're sitting here, he comes and climbs up on that shelf, so I felt like it was an opportunity.
Using my cat for views.
I hope. All right, so we left off with the Bengals. Do you want to start with the Browns or the Ravens?
We can do the Browns. It's
are you taking them to the Super Bowl or?
No.
All right, dad jokes are over.
4-13. It's generous.
God, you think they're that bad, huh?
Yeah, I think they're overshadowed by the Deshaun Watson stuff and the
You know
locker
what?
room. The locker room is getting dragged around. I think their moves, they spent so much on Amari Cooper to be just as good as Odell Beckham was in Cleveland.
As I'm looking at this, like I have them winning 2, 3. I have them
This
starting
says
3-3.
7, but
And before Deshaun Watson comes back, I
which
have them at
is
4-5,
when does this?
4 and
Deshaun Watson
6.
comes week
Week 13.
13, right?
Yeah, so
I
they'll have
have
11
them.
games in.
I have them with 2 wins
I
before
have them with
Deshaun comes
4,
back.
and that's probably
I ha-
overly
I have them
generous.
beating Carolina week 1 and New England week 6.
I also have them beating Carolina, but that was finding that was trying to find a win for him.
I think Baker Mayfield's trying to make a big fuss about like, oh, this is my revenge game, fuck 'em, or whatever his quote was, and he's just gonna fucking suck. He's gonna throw 3 interceptions to Denzel Ward or something like that, and they're just gonna get demolished.
I mean, in general, I think the Panthers are a better team. Um, so yeah, I mean,
have the
right
Panthers.
now I have Cleveland winning that game
I don't have the
because
Panthers winning a lot.
I don't think Carolina comes on until
I
it
mean, it all
might be
depends on
halfway
Christian
through the season.
McCaffrey.
Agreed. Yep. Yeah, I mean, if Christian McCaffrey plays,
They're also gonna lose. I feel like so. I only have Carolina winning 2 games, and this is one of them. Or no, they lost this one. Never mind. It's all gonna be shootouts. Their defense is gonna suck. I thought their defense was gonna be good last year. I drafted their defense in fantasy football, and then they were garbage. So
so you've been burned by fantasy
yeah,
football,
no
so
faith.
you're off.
No faith. I'm off. I'm off the Panthers. But yeah, so
Yeah,
I don't think the Browns start winning games until Deshaun Watson comes in.
yeah, honestly, that them
And
at 7
if
wins for me is
you look
probably
at
too
their
high.
schedule, if you look at their schedule when Deshaun Watson comes back, Cincinnati, Baltimore, New Orleans, Washington, Steelers. Oh, I mean the Texans too, but I mean that's a win. I guess Deshaun Watson saves embarrassment of playing Miami, Buffalo, Tampa right before he comes back.
Yeah.
I mean, even when he comes back, I think Deshaun Watson wins his Texans revenge game, and then I don't have them winning again until they play Washington.
I don't. I don't think he wins that game. I think it takes him at least a week or two. I mean, he hasn't played football in over a year and a half. It'll be almost 2 years by the
I,
time he
I
plays a game.
I don't think it's so much Deshaun Watson winning though. I mean,
Sure, yeah. I mean,
Nick Chubb's gonna destroy that defense. That
they
defense
still
is
have an excellent
horrible.
defense. They still have a good offensive line.
And the running backs.
Yeah. Yep.
And I mean, their wide receivers are okay. I don't like Amari Cooper, but the rest of their wide receivers I like. Donovan Peoples-Jones. I like them.
So I have
tight
I
ends.
have an opinion of Amari Cooper, but uh,
As
I
a
don't
Raiders
think
fan.
Derek Carr has ever made a wide receiver look good, but I think he actually made Amari Cooper look good, and we saw that when he went to Dallas because he was
And got the bag, yeah.
and yeah. So I mean, people could talk about Derek Carr all they want, and he's not a great quarterback, but I think he got Amari Cooper paid.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't have a strong opinion on
The
the Browns.
Browns
They're not going to be a play for me.
8.5.
8.5. Yeah.
What are the odds on the under?
I mean, they won last year. They won 8 games with a busted up Baker Mayfield. So is the quarterback play really what they're missing? And if you say it is, they're still probably an 8-win team.
No, because I lean on Baker's side. I'm more of a Baker liker than I am a Baker hater.
I am also.
I think
But I think they lost a lot of games late because they tried to because they needed Baker Mayfield to carry them, and
well, he's never
with a busted shoulder he couldn't do it.
He's never gonna carry an offense. I mean, the thing is,
No.
Baker Mayfield is this generation's Kirk Cousins and Derek Carr and Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah. I think that's fair. I mean,
he is a game manager. He's not going to go out there and win a game like Pat Mahomes is going to.
No.
He's not going to go out there and win a game like that Josh Allen's going to do.
No.
Or Justin Herbert, like.
But you don't talk about him losing games either.
No, because for the most part, he's not. I mean, yeah, busted up shoulder. I think he had one blow up game where he threw like 3 interceptions last year, but everything else, it was like, when they lost, they were somewhat close. They never really got blown out.
But in Cleveland, he also had the benefit of a strong running game and a strong offensive line, which is going to make any quarterback look better. I mean, whether if they can hit their spots and they can hit the receivers downfield, that's on the quarterback. But when you talk about whether they blow up and lose a game,
they went 8-9 last year.
8-9, yeah.
Their losses,
and honestly, they lost most of those games at the end of the season, I think.
Their losses, week 1, they lost to the Chiefs by 4 points. Baker Mayfield threw for 321 yards. They beat the Texans. They beat Chicago. They beat the Vikings in that 14-7 game. They lost to the Chargers 47-42 in a shootout. They lost. Okay, they got blown out by Arizona 37-14.
Which week was that?
Week 6.
So
the 3 losses already.
And at that time, the Cardinals, I think, were undefeated.
The Cardinals were so hot. Yeah. They went like 11-0 or something like that.
Yep.
They lost to Pittsburgh 15-10. They got blown out by New England 45-7. They lost to Baltimore by less than a touchdown. They lost to the Raiders by 2. They lost to Green Bay by 2. They lost to Pittsburgh by 12. And then they beat the Bengals to close the season.
A Bengals team that was
Case Keenum
in the playoffs. Yeah,
that wasn't Baker Mayfield. That was Case Keenum.
Well, but I mean, to me, that's...
Case Keenum. Hold on, Case Keenum was also the blowout loss to New England. So that wasn't even Baker.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
I
there
don't
was a
think
lot
Baker
of
Mayfield was the problem.
there was
Now,
a lot of hype around the Browns going into the season, and they kind of
there
they
was.
even at 8 wins they underdelivered.
Yeah.
And
Well, because everybody expected them to go to the playoffs again.
I think they're still going to be a decent team. I don't think you'll see those embarrassments like you had last year, but for sure I don't think they get to the 8.5. You've got
Yeah,
them way under.
the
But
the they play a tough.
yeah,
They are, in my opinion, they are the worst team in that division.
um,
Actually, in both of our
by
opinions, they are the
by a
worst
lot
team in that
actually.
division.
Yeah,
Now, for me, by a lot. For you, by 2 games. But um, easy teams they play: Carolina, the Jets, the Falcons. I wouldn't consider the Saints easy for them. I wouldn't even consider Washington
where
easy for them at the end of the season.
where
16 or
is
7.
that Saints game at?
It's week 16. So it's going to be
It's
Watson,
in Cleveland.
and it's in Cleveland.
Yeah.
I don't. They don't play a lot of teams where I look at them and go, yeah, they can beat that team pretty easily. Like I said, if Zach Wilson's in the Jets starting for the Jets week 2, I think the Jets beat them. I have the Jets beating them.
I'm not gonna go that far, but yeah, and honestly, and the biggest thing I have for this whole division is outside of the Bengals, I don't know what any of these teams are gonna do.
Yeah.
I think they're mediocre. We've already talked about it with the Browns, but I think the Steelers are all quarterback play. What happens at quarterback, I think is really going
Um
to have a big impact on their season.
yes. I also think so. Where did the Steelers go last year? They went 9
Nine and
7
seven.
and 1. And that was with Big Ben post Tommy John going on some kind of retirement tour.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think they have.
I mean,
I don't think they have the skill positions.
no matter
I, di- and they got Smith Schuster, but
no they don't.
oh, is he not there?
Juju's in Kansas City now.
Oh, okay, I missed that.
They
So
have
they definitely don't have the the skill
they've
positions.
Deontay Johnson, who's good. Najee Harris, as long as he's healthy, he's good. And they gave him, I think he was like second or third in rush attempts. Like he got the ball so much, they just fed him.
I just
The O
I
line's
don't.
okay.
Eh, I don't
It's
think it
old, but it's
is.
okay.
I don't think they're as good this year as they were last year. And at 9 wins last year, I've got them at 9 wins again this year. But
I have them at 8, and I mean,
I
I
I
still think
think
they're
that
better. Again, it's just
you think they're better than they were
comes.
last year.
I think they're the same as they were last year, but like I'm talking about them more highly than you are, and I have them at
Yeah.
less wins. But
Yeah,
again,
I
you
just
look at the schedule, and there's not a lot of teams where I'm like,
on,
oh yeah,
honestly, I think this 9 wins is probably more faith in Mike Tomlin than it
yeah.
is any of the talent that they have in the team.
So
Um,
my line right now at 8 and 9 is setting Mike Tomlin up to snap his streak
hmm
and the Steelers streak. Because Mike Tomlin and the Steelers haven't had a losing record since
Yeah, I
like
think if
in like 20 something years.
I think it's at 17. This would be year 18.
This would be year
But
18. Okay.
if you forced me to make a bet on the Steelers over under, I'd probably take. God, I don't even know. I think 8 wins is probably right, which
If
puts
you
them at
put
a
a gun to
losing
my
season.
head to make the bet, and as a genuine bet to make money, I would still probably take the over. And I have them at eight
I
and
I,
nine, which is right at the over. But
I think
I
I would
wouldn't be
too. Yeah.
surprised if the Steelers get
Nope.
10 wins. I
I
also
wouldn't
wouldn't
be.
be surprised if they have 12 losses.
I think if they had Yeah, I don't think there's any surprise with the Steelers this year, and I think that mostly is due to uncertainty.
Yeah,
No idea what they're
exactly.
going to be.
They're benefiting on their outcome just by the
Yeah,
uncertainty going into the season.
and
So nobody can really be disappointed because it's like, oh well, I thought they were going to be good because Kenny Pickett was going to be the quarterback from week 1 and he was going to be a star, like
even
Justin
if he's
Herbert was and Joe Burrow was.
yeah, even if he's a quarterback week 1, I don't think you win games that way. If they win games, if he starts week 1 and they win any games in their first 4, it's because of something else. Um, I just I think the moral of the Steelers for this season is if you put any money either way on them, you just don't like money. So I mean, unless people much smarter about football than you or I are going to weigh in on that. But you know, and honestly, the feelings that I have with the Steelers are kind of the same for the Ravens. I have them at 11 wins, and I think that's mostly due to schedule. Um, I don't have a lot of confidence that they're the team that they were 2 or 3 years ago. They still have a
They
lot
went
of the same players, which
they went
doesn't make
eight and
sense to
nine
me.
last year without Lamar for a while. I think Lamar Jackson's health makes or breaks this team. The Ravens go 12 wins if Lamar plays an entire season. The Ravens go 7 wins if he misses half.
That scares me off of almost any bet.
Yeah.
When
But
you
I
have a
will
single
say
point like
it
that.
wasn't a lower body injury, I don't think, or at least a leg injury. I don't.
To be honest, I don't remember.
I want to say the lowest on his body it was. It was like a groin injury.
But you know, they play. They
Oh
start
no, it was
off.
ankle. Never mind, it was ankle. Oh,
They
okay.
start off
That scares me a little
Jets,
bit.
Dolphins, Patriots, Buffalo.
3-1.
Same. Yeah, I honestly I don't know how they let them schedule it that way, where you get that division,
Yeah,
just
you get
bang
the
bang
whole
bang.
division. Yeah, you
Um,
finish the division series right there. 3-1.
yeah, yeah, and then
I
they
had them
get.
beating the Bengals in the first go.
I'm losing, but then you come back and you play the Giants and the Browns. I think they kind of ease into the season and can kind of, I guess, get their way up to 11 wins. I really don't think they're that good of a team, but you know, beating New Orleans, beating Carolina, beating Jacksonville,
Yeah,
beating
like they have a
Atlanta,
stretch of.
they don't play anybody.
I mean, what their hardest opponents are Buffalo and Tampa.
Yep.
Everybody else, I mean Cincinnati, but okay. I think there's a hangover for Cincinnati too. I have them at 12-5.
I
I think that's a little generous because I mean you got to think about that O line. It was garbage. They went to the Super Bowl with a
I
bottom 20 offensive line.
I can't imagine how they get any worse on offensive line.
Hey, yeah, it's only up from here, I guess. But like, yeah, I don't know. It's tough.
These dang kids.
I like. Well, J.K. Dobbins
I
probably isn't going to start the season. I mean, the thing is, Mark Andrews being there just really carries the offense, especially when Lamar's not there.
Yeah, I think I'm being generous at 11 wins, which means I would not take this bet. Even,
I probably wouldn't either.
um, and honestly, anybody in this division I wouldn't take. I don't have any plays here. I think even though the Bengals are going to be good, there's just so much variation in
My
this
only
league.
play is the under on the Browns.
You would take the under on the Browns.
I would take the under. I have no faith in that team this year.
It's probably
it's I think it's just the locker room atmosphere is just going to be so negative that
You
it's going
you
to be
might
too
be
much of a distraction.
right there. I genuinely think my 7 wins there is probably generous, and even at that, I've got a win to play with if I took the under.
Yeah.
What is that line at now? Has it moved at all?
For Cleveland,
Yeah,
it's 8.5 still.
so it's still 8.5.
And Vegas favorites the under -160.
Ooh,
So it's,
I don't think you make anything on that bet
no,
unless you
no,
bet a
you don't.
ton.
Yeah, you don't make that money. You don't.
Uh,
I mean, you don't make the money, so
I wouldn't. I
you
probably
don't
wouldn't
make the
make that
bet.
play.
But
Yeah. All right. Let's head over to the south. We differ on this one a ton.
this is the
You like
AFC South here.
the Colts.
I don't know. There's some kind of magic there. I have some upsets. Let's see.
I
Who
do not like
like
the Colts.
14-3?
I
I don't know. I think Matt Ryan's an upgrade from Carson Wentz. I think another
I think
year
it's
for Michael
probably a
Pittman.
push. I think it's a push.
They
I I was
one of
higher
the
on
best
Carson
O
Wentz than
lines.
most.
I'd never trust Carson Wentz.
I
I mean, I
I
live
was
where only Eagles fans exist. Never trust Carson Wentz.
I was higher on Carson Wentz than most. So I think Matt Ryan is a push. They were only 9 wins last year. They tanked at the end of the season.
Yep. They
They should
threw it
have made
away.
the play. They should have
They were
made the
going to make the
playoffs.
playoffs if they beat the Jaguars in week
Yep,
7 or week
yep.
18 and you lose.
I and and that was not on Carson Wentz. That was just
No.
a total letdown across the
Yep.
board. But even if they win that game, they're at 10-7, and the over under here is 10 games. I don't think they're better. I don't think they really made significant improvements anywhere.
Uh no, I have no idea. Um
And they play the AFC West, which I think is the best division in the AFC. So they have to play
who did
everybody
they
there.
Oh, okay. The Colts did so they signed Stephon Gilmore, which is pretty big if he's all right, if he's not hurt cuz he was sneaky. He wasn't like defensive player of the year for the Patriots, Stephon Gilmore last year for Carolina, but he was sneaky good. He just didn't get talked about. Um
He's not going to take him to 14 wins.
no, but I mean their offense I think is good enough to get that. I mean they have who else? Um they signed Yannick Ngakwe and DeForest Buckner and Darius Leonard.
I need to get my Simpsons soundboard for the Homer line. I have no idea who that is.
Yannick Ngakwe was a Raider.
Oh,
He was he was the D end that you guys right? Am I right in thinking that he was a Raider? Oh, never mind. He was a Jaguar. That's right.
I
Okay.
don't remember him, but
He was a Jaguar. And he was a stud. And then he came to the Vikings and was hurt. And then we traded him to Baltimore and he was mediocre. So he hasn't been a stud. But I think on the other side of DeForest Buckner and Darius Leonard, I think he's a monster. I don't know if that. I don't know why I have hard eyes for Indianapolis this year. I mean, there's 9.5 wins. I would bet the over in a heartbeat. Vegas dropped their lines to 9.5 from 10.
You're gonna bet the over there, huh? 9.5. Okay, that helps. Um, uh, I'm off of him. I think the other half of why I'm off of the Colts
It's
is that
because of how on with the Titans
I
you are.
think the Titans are going to I I have them at 17 wins here, and so I have to explain the way that I did this. Yeah, I went through line by line, alphabetical by team. So I started with Atlanta, went all the way through. So that means Tennessee is the second to last team that I went through. All of their games were decided before I ever got there, and it just ended up that they were 17 and 0 by the time. Um, I don't think they're gonna win 17 games, but
But that's just
even
how your math ended up.
yeah, even if they lose five, still way over on uh, where the line is. Are they still at 9? I have to imagine that moved up.
9.5. They went up half a game.
I'd still take it.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean,
and
either
it,
way, on the over, you have to hit 10. Well, I
well, but
guess
nine
9
nine
would be a
gives you a
push.
push, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you lose the
Um,
vig, but yeah, I think with the Titans, I think they've not depended on quarterback play at all. Tannehill's similar to um, I can't remember who we were talking about, but he's not going to lose you a game. Baker Mayfield, he's not going to lose you a game. He's not going to win you a game either. I think Tennessee really depends a lot on how many games Derrick Henry plays,
Derrick Henry can play.
and they got
Uh,
him some support. He's not going to have the number of touches that he had last year.
no. He doesn't need it though. His efficiency is just insane.
Right, but
Like
they're
he doesn't need 250 rushing attempts
no,
to
I
rush
think
for 1600 yards and 15 touchdowns.
their main strength is their running game, and they're going to continue to run the ball whether it's Derrick Henry or not. And I think that makes them more consistent. And
The system doesn't change no matter who's in.
right, and I think looking at who they're playing, they do play the AFC West. Even if they split against the AFC West, let's say they beat the Raiders and the Broncos and lose to the Chiefs and the Chargers. Um,
What do
they
I
don't
have
play.
Tennessee against that division?
They don't play anybody else.
Um,
Even if they split against the entire division and they split against the AFC
I
West,
mean,
that's five.
I have
That's
them at 11-6, and that's with beating the Chiefs and the Raiders and losing. Okay, yeah, they split. They lose to uh, Denver, LA.
yeah. I mean, yeah. So
Okay, yeah, they
yeah,
split.
exactly right. If they
And I
split
have
with
them
the
at
AFC
11 and
West
6.
and they split with the AFC in their own division, AFC South, that's five losses. That still
Who's the
puts them at
6
12
loss?
and
Where do I have? Okay, so I have them
Buffalo
at 11
probably.
and 6, and that's with a random upset game where the Jaguars take them. I it's just those weird games happen. Week 14, you're tired. Your bye week was 8 weeks ago. You know what I mean? You're
Yeah.
gassed. Derrick Henry's probably on a short bench for a foot injury or
Oh yeah.
something
By
because some big dude stepped on it in the box.
by week 14, Derrick Henry's not in the game.
Yeah,
I whether it's injury or they're just trying to kind of preserve him. Playing
yeah,
against the
exactly.
Jaguars, at that point, they're
You just
probably
mentioned
locked for the playoffs. You give them a couple
or
touches, and
close enough. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But they finish out against Houston, Dallas, and Jacksonville
I have
again.
them losing to Dallas.
Fine.
People are low on Dallas this year, and I don't know
I,
why.
I don't know that much about them to be honest, but I guess if I had one bet that I had to make this season, I'm taking Tennessee on the over. Um, even at 9.5, I'm taking the over.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm fine with the over.
Um, you know,
I would take
Jack.
the over if I was going from if I had to put an actual amount of money on it, I wouldn't, but I would take the over if I were going through 32 teams.
I mean, you've got even at 11 wins, you've got some.
A cushion, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's only one
Really,
game.
it's a one game, but
um, but you have them losing to Jacksonville, and I actually don't think that's that crazy. I think Jacksonville's a better team this year. Um,
oh, 100%.
I think a lot of their problem really was coaching, and I have no idea who their coach is now. I just,
Doug Peterson was the Eagles coach when they won the Super Bowl.
uh, yeah, I'm not high on Doug
Who
Peterson,
I don't think
but
he's that good of a coach either.
um,
I think
I think he's better than Urban
not
Meyer though.
well, 100%. Not
Yeah,
shit talking Eagles, yada yada yada. Because you just hate the Eagles. I don't hate the Eagles.
you
I
do,
hate Eagles
you
fans
do
because they're
too.
annoying. No, I hate the fan base because they're annoying and their arguments never make sense.
Says the Yankees fan.
I don't argue about the Yankees. I have nothing to argue about. We're good.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
We're gonna
Doug Peterson,
hashtag Yankees in the chat there.
Doug Peterson, and the 2017 Philadelphia Eagles were on some God-given run that nobody could have predicted, and
With
they're
Carson
like,
Wentz.
"Oh, everybody thought we were." I don't understand why Vegas thought we were the underdog in the playoffs because you had Nick Foles as your quarterback. You're telling me that you were fully confident in Nick Foles being on that team for a second run to carry you through the playoffs and win and throw for 550 yards in the Super Bowl. And you're going to tell me that it was all because you were a good team and not
Uh,
because it was just
uh,
the stars
uh,
aligned.
by that logic, though, you could chalk it up to Doug Peterson. Um,
Yeah,
I don't
okay,
I
sure.
don't hate I don't hate Doug Peterson. I don't. I think he's a coach from 10 years ago. I think he probably would have been a fine coach. I think the game's a little
Yeah,
bit different than. I mean, I remember him as a backup to Brett Favre the whole time. So,
yeah, to Green Bay,
um,
or in Green Bay, yeah.
yeah. But in general, I think the Jaguars are a better team. Um, as I worked through it, and I put them at 6 wins, and then I looked at the over/under 6.5. I think that's right on. I think they're going to beat a couple teams that they shouldn't, but they're going to lose some. They're going to lose some close games, and I think a lot of it will have to do with experience.
Yeah.
Um, Similar to the Dolphins, I think they're on the right track. I just don't think they get there this year.
No, I don't. I think the hype needs to die off of Trevor Lawrence, and he needs to settle in the NFL. Cause he's the next Peyton Manning. He played in
No,
the ACC.
no.
He was on the only good team in a Big 12 or in a Power 5 conference. Like name me another competitive conference team. You can't because I mean,
I think he'll be fine.
Florida State was good 8 years ago. Trevor Lawrence was 12.
I I think he'll be fine. And honestly, Doug Peterson's probably a great coach to have for
I
developing
think
him.
their running back room is amazing. I think their
Uh,
offensive line blows. I think they have good wide receivers that are overpaid, but
yeah,
they have good
yeah.
wide receivers. I like Christian Kirk.
Offensive
Um,
line is gonna really make or break a young quarterback too. That's
their defense still is just
I,
a mess.
I think what you'll see with Trevor Lawrence is you'll see him make some highlight plays, and then you'll see some highlights the other way.
Yeah.
And it's going to be probably dependent on the offensive line. If he's running around, he's going to make some bad throws, and it's going to cost him a
Uh-huh.
game or two. But
Yep.
um, that's what you've gotten into. That's the game plan that you signed up for.
I
I mean,
don't have the Jags winning a game till week 13.
ooh,
0-11 going in. That's including their bye. 0-11 going into Detroit,
You
and
have
then they
them
just
losing against the Giants
yes,
in week 7.
yes.
Ouch.
I have them going on a stretch where they beat Detroit. They come out of the bye and they play Baltimore, and they're gonna lose because Baltimore is just the defense alone is just gonna
Yeah.
run through them. Beating Detroit, then the upset game against the Titans, upsetting Dallas, and then it's not an upset to beat the Jets or the Texans,
Yeah.
and then losing to Tennessee.
Yeah.
People
Uh,
are gonna people are coming out of the bye thinking this Jaguars team is the worst team we've seen since the 0-16
few
Browns stretch.
let down games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
then
mean they
teams are going to go in with their guard down and they're just going to beat up on them. Trevor Lawrence is going to have a game, or whichever running back is starting for them at that point, James Robinson or Travis Etienne. They're just going to go off.
yeah, they benefit from playing Houston twice. They
Yep.
benefit from playing both New York teams.
Yep.
And I don't know. I don't think they're the worst team in this division. Um, you looks like
It's
you
tough
agree on
not
that,
to
but
be. It's tough
uh,
not to be.
yeah, Houston is going to be terrible.
There's only, let's see, hold on. Let me look at my
You know,
There's
and
only one team I have worse this season than Houston. Houston will have the
honestly,
number
I
2 overall pick.
last year I would have taken the over on Houston, and I didn't. But then halfway through the season, they ended up selling. I mean,
Yeah.
it just
Well,
they
yeah, that's
gave
when
up
all the
on
Deshaun
everything.
Watson stuff started.
Yeah,
Or
I
started
expect
talking that.
I thought
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson would play a couple games last year. I thought he would sit out the first half and then play, but
Yeah.
um, yeah, that's a different conversation for sure. But um, they really he was looking to get out of Houston even before that all happened.
Before the season, yeah.
Yeah, because they got out of JJ Watt. They sold um, who was the receiver they had? I
DeAndre
mean,
Hopkins.
yep, yep. They I mean they
Yeah,
sold
so
off
they
all the
sold him
skill.
for a bargain.
Yeah, yeah. They didn't get anything out of. They didn't get anything out of the Cleveland
They
trade.
didn't they didn't get a top 4 pick for
No,
DeAndre Hopkins, I don't think.
I mean the only thing that they got for even when they traded Deshaun Watson to the Browns, the only thing they got was cap room. I mean they offloaded the
Yeah.
salary, but they really didn't get anything in return for it. So yeah, I think they're the worst team in 15.
Oh no, they got a second round and a fourth round. Oh, that's right. I forgot about this trade.
Next year
They
though,
trade
right? It wasn't even
they
this year.
traded no, DeAndre Hopkins, not Watson.
Okay, okay.
DeAndre Hopkins and a fourth round pick, a 2020 fourth round pick for David Johnson, a 2020 second round, and a 2021 fourth round. So, chump change for a top 5 wide receiver at the time.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, they're bad. They're gonna be bad. I don't even know how I got them at 5 wins, to be honest. But you know, over under 4.5. It's probably right. I wouldn't touch it.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
I mean,
What do
they
I
play.
have? Who do I have them beating? I have them beating the Bears.
that says
Um,
that says a lot about the Bears.
I have them beating the Jags the first time, splitting the Jags series, but beating them once.
That's fair. Yep. I probably have the same, honestly.
And then the Cowboys. The end of the season, the Cowboys always look bad. Beginning of the season, they look awesome. End of the season,
Yeah.
they always look bad.
I have them
So
splitting.
week 14 in Dallas, I think for some reason, just it all lines up for Houston to just. I think it's more Dallas beats themselves and loses the game than it is Houston beats them.
Yeah, I have them splitting with Jacksonville. I have them splitting with Indy, which I know we differ on. I do. I think they beat Cleveland. Uh, that's the Deshaun Watson game. I think they beat Cleveland.
Yeah,
Um,
I.
but then
That's
they
a
don't
toss
win.
up. I
They
wouldn't
don't
be
win the rest of the
surprised either
season.
way.
They don't win the rest of the season after that though. They that's their Super Bowl this year.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's just that revenge game.
Um,
They're
you're gonna
gonna
play
sell
the
out that stadium too.
Are you gonna play the Colts?
What 10? Is that still the? Let me see. Yeah, 9.5 now. Oh, I would take the over at nine
Maybe.
and a half.
Yeah.
I would take the over at 9.5.
That extra half a game helps.
Yeah. At full 10, I I mean,
if you think they
saying
sweep the
14, I
division,
kind of
yeah,
have to take the
they
over
they
to
have to
support
sweep
me
the
saying they're
division.
going 14-3.
Yeah.
Yeah. They don't even have to sweep the division to get 10 wins.
They
They
have
just
to
have to
beat Houston twice. They have to beat Jacksonville
yeah.
twice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they can only split
S-
the Titans,
Split the Titans maybe, but
and then you just have to pull out some other games.
yeah, if I think you'll know by week 5 because they play Kansas City in week 3, Denver in week 5. You'll kind of know by then whether it's going to be a winner or not. But
Yeah.
all right. Um, I think the AFC West is the best division, at least in the AFC.
It's the best division in the AFC, and I mean,
I but the over under on all of them
it's
is
not.
10.
I think it's the best division in the league. I was thinking AFC West, but even then, I don't think that after Seattle's fire
NFC West,
sale,
yeah.
they're done. I think the
I think
best
if you wanted
division
the
is
best
the
four
AFC
teams,
West.
these are the best 4 teams. Um,
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
I mean, and I have a lot of bias in here, right?
I
Like
don't I
I
don't have any of them going under 500. So
I
yeah.
I'm a Raiders
Neither
fan.
did you. Oh my God, they're all double digits.
Yep. I
Wow.
don't honestly. I got to 10-7 with the Raiders. I don't
Are we
think
starting with the home team? I have them at
I'm
11-6.
I and part of it is I don't like to bet my own team. And it
Yeah,
would really
okay.
frustrate me at 10-7 if they didn't make the playoffs, which I don't think they would.
On mine, do they make the playoffs for me?
Well, you've got them at 11 wins, so
I know, but I still don't know if they make it.
it's got to be.
Nope,
Really?
they do not. No, the what is it? The AFC is the who do I have as the first seed? Oh, the Bills. The Bills, Colts, Chargers, Bengals, Chiefs, Titans, Ravens. The tiebreaker with the Ravens because they're
Yeah.
both 11-6. But yeah, so the Ravens are 11-6. So is the Raiders, but the Raiders are going 2-4 in the division on my books.
I honestly I think all of these teams, and that's the way I treated all of them. I think they all split within the division. It doesn't mean they go 1-1 with each team, but I think they're all going to be right around 3-3 inside the division. It's just I think they're that closely matched. Um,
Yeah.
I think the Chiefs are still probably the best team.
I don't know. I'm leaning on the Chargers. I think I have them at the same record. The division split has the Chargers winning the division.
Yep.
I just think the Chargers figured out their formula, and then I mean, they beefed up the defense a little bit in free agency. They paid they're now paying their wide receiver 1 and 2, so they have the bag. So they're gonna use them. They have, I mean, Austin Eckler's an insane talent, and their O line is better and better every year
I
because
just
all they've done in the last 3 years is draft first round O
I
line.
I can't believe how much talent is in this division. I mean, it's
Oh,
it's
100%.
consolidated, right?
It's almost unfair how much talent is
Yeah,
in the division.
and all of them have done it through. I mean, they drafted well, right? I mean, the
Oh,
Chiefs
100%.
Chiefs draft a bunch of talent at wide receiver. I mean, that's what they've done for forever. But they kind of struck gold with Mahomes. Um, the Chargers sucked for a long time to get Herbert.
Yep.
um, the Raiders have been mid-level team for the last 3-4 years,
And it's
and
it's weird because like the Raiders have been so good at drafting insanely talented players before the window
yeah,
and then trading them and using that trade
yeah,
capital to continue to draft good talent.
they
They're turning talent into payment, which that payment
yeah
is turning into more
they
talent,
they
which
get a
most
lot of
teams don't do.
right. They get a lot of grief for when they offload some of their players. I think Von Miller or not Von Miller, Khalil Mack is a perfect example. Yeah, they were just universally roasted for trading him to the Bears.
Yep.
It turned out Khalil Mack was on the downside of his career, and what they got in return for him was a lot of upside. Similar with Amari Cooper. Uh,
Which, by
they
the way, now you have to play Khalil Mack twice this year.
I think that's all right. I think yeah I have a lot of optimism for the Raiders. I in this exercise I definitely hedged a lot of stuff. I don't want to put on here 15-1 or 15-2 for the Raiders. Um, but I think the piece that they were missing last year was a number one receiver, and I think they went a long way without one. They get back all their 2 and 3 receivers that perform probably overperformed last year.
Yeah.
Best tight end in football, I think. Um, I think
So I'm
they're
trying
all
to
in this year.
see. I'm trying to see who you guys drafted
I
out of what you got from Khalil Mack.
I am
So you
very
got
nervous for the future for the Raiders, though.
two
Outside
first round
after this year,
picks, a third, and a sixth. Yeah, I think the window's coming to a close.
yeah, I think they've got Devonte Adams for 3 years. I
Yes.
think Derek Carr probably only has 1 or 2 more effective years before we
Yeah.
go down that long, dark, lonely road looking for a
Of
quarterback.
of continuing to pay a game manager who's just getting older and older and older, and
Yeah.
I mean, it's what the Chargers did with Philip Rivers. It's what the Steelers
Yes.
did with
Yep.
Ben Roethlisberger.
Right.
Just
They're
the
they're better than
Steelers,
the
the
alternative,
Steelers
but
survived through their defense,
yep. Yep.
and the Chargers didn't survive.
No. Yeah. It's one of those things where you hope you strike gold like this the Chiefs have done with Mahomes, but uh, that's a 1 in 50 chance maybe. I don't know. And I think
Oh yeah.
the the
Okay, I don't know if the Raiders made out on the Khalil Mack trade.
I don't think I think the consensus at the time of the trade was that they gave up too much with Khalil Mack, but
You
I
so
don't think they lost any production.
you drafted Josh Jacobs, Brian Edwards, and Damon Arnett.
Two out of
Who
three
I
are starters today.
Damon Arnett's good. Josh Jacobs was good. Brian Edwards was gonna be good, and then
He's
you messed with the wide receiver room, and what's his name? Darren Waller blew up,
so,
so he
so I
didn't
think
need to get used.
I think a lot of the Brian Edwards issue is that they didn't have a number one receiver, so they were
Yeah,
trying to use him too much.
yeah.
Um,
So who
but
knows? He could be good this year with having Devonte Adams there
but
pulling
all 3 of those
pressure.
players are starters on because Edwards is number 2
Yeah,
tight end, right? Um,
wide receiver. Yeah,
or so he's probably number 3 wide receiver.
yeah.
Um, I think all of those are starting players on pretty much any team.
So
But
where the Raiders ended up losing on the Mac trade is who they signed, saving the cap. The free agency signings they had with the money they saved from Mac, because that's where Trent Brown, Antonio Brown, Lamarcus Joyner, and Tyrell Williams came from, and all of them were bust city for you guys.
yeah, Antonio Brown never played a minute.
Nope. Didn't even play a preseason game.
Nope.
So
and I was okay with that because let's get out of that game.
I like the Raiders though. I've liked the Raiders the last few years.
Yep.
I've kind of
If so the
chosen them as an AFC team to follow even before me and you started really talking about football and stuff. I didn't even know you were a Raiders fan.
the,
But like
the
2 years ago, I
Achilles
was like, oh, fuck yeah, the Raiders. They're fun.
Achilles heel for the Raiders is always going to be whether they can stop the run. So the fact that
Yeah.
they play Tennessee and a couple other run-heavy teams has me a little bit nervous. And I think it's all scheme. I don't think it's individual players. I think it really is scheme. And I don't see that they've made an improvement on the defensive side of the ball this year.
Yeah.
We lost our defensive coordinator because he had to head coach throughout the end of the year, and then we didn't sign him on, and I think McDaniels is going to be a good head coach.
Yeah. I think he's going to be really good for the offense, which is why people are like,
Yep.
oh, Devontae Adams isn't going to be the same without Aaron Rodgers. It's like, all right, but
I
you
think they'll
have one of the
I
best offensive coordinators in the game calling plays for him on the offense.
Yep.
Darren Waller's going to get used a lot. Devontae Adams going to get used a lot, and those two guys. You know how they used to say, "Oh, you don't put your best corner on the star wide receiver. You double them up with your cornerback 2 and 3, and then you put your best corner on wide receiver 2." It's like, but you need to put a cornerback on Darren Waller. He's
Yep.
too good
Yep.
for a linebacker.
You can't put a linebacker on him, right? Or a defensive end. Yep.
So you can't double up Adams with a 2 and 3 and put the cornerback 1 on the wide receiver 2, because you have to put the slot corner on Waller, which means you have to either double Adams or just hope your cornerback 1 can cover one of the best all-around wide receivers in the NFL.
Yep. No,
and then there's a wide receiver 2 you have to worry about, which is Bryan Edwards in this case.
In this division, I don't think there's a shutdown secondary. So I think all these division games are going to be high scoring.
I think the Chargers have the best secondary, and it's because of their safety room and not because of their cornerbacks.
Yep.
I think the Chargers have really good help over the top, but in the middle of the field and in the first 10 yards, it's nobody in the AFC West has good corners.
Yep.
Well, they have all of them have one good corner, but they don't have enough to stop the receiving options the Raiders have.
Yeah, and I think
it's going to come down to defense.
I think the only team we really haven't talked about here is the Broncos, and I put them at 10 wins. I'm not buying it. I don't think Russell Wilson's the answer for them.
I have them at 9, and I think that they're going to be pretty good. I don't think they did just pay him like 2 days ago or yesterday.
Yeah, but he wasn't. I don't think he was their only gap.
Let's ride.
You know.
Let's ride.
Yeah, I don't think he was their only gap, and I think the Broncos are probably a 12-win team in any other division. In this division, I don't think they are. I don't think they make the playoffs.
Nope.
I think they're improved.
Yes.
I mean, it's hard to pick up Russell Wilson over whoever else they were playing.
Drew Lock.
and not make an improvement, but how does that translate into wins and whether they make a playoff run? I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know. I like their defense. I like their team, but yeah, it's just the division. You're playing 6 of your games against 3 other top half teams.
Yep.
I mean, here, I'll pull up. So this has, I can see league standings.
They play a bunch of nobodies outside of that, but I guess they play the Rams. They play Tennessee.
In the 32 team standings through the season, the worst team that's not the Broncos in the AFC West is the Raiders at 15.
Yeah.
So, upper middle. And now that's not just record, because the Cowboys are at 14 at 8 and 9. Because of the being in a different conference and then the superlatives around it. So,
for me in general, I don't have any plays here. I took the Raiders over last year because it was either 8 or 8.5. And a lot of bias in there, but I saw a big improvement coming last year. So at 10 wins, that was an easy win for me. This year,
yeah.
I would have to take the over, but I don't think I would make a bet. You got anything here? Chargers is probably your closest.
I can't touch 10.5. I wouldn't be able to put money at 10.5.
The hardest
and if
part.
A situational bullet to the head, putting a bet on the Raiders at 10.5, I, for my sanity, have to go under.
The closest one for you here is the Chargers.
The win totals on FanDuel is 8.5.
For the Raiders?
For the Raiders.
Well, I'm making that a play.
Yeah, I would take that. At 8.5, I would take that. I'd take the over.
Go on. Yeah, if that is what it is, then I'm gonna make that play. I mean, they came through with it last year, and
I mean, they made
why would I not do it again?
And
they're better this year, so
Bengals a run for their money too in the playoffs. It's not like it was a blowout. They made it close.
So in general, AFC, are you gonna make any plays on any of them?
Well, let me check.
I'll go back through
the
Raiders real quick.
Changed. The Chargers are at 10. Just the AFC total or overall?
I'm taking Jets under.
Yes.
And I will probably take the Dolphins under. I know you've got them at 10 wins.
I don't hate that, and I would take the Bills over.
You will take the Bills over.
They're at 11.5. Yeah, I'd take them over in the over.
I don't have any plays in the AFC North.
Browns under. I'll stand by it. Browns under. I'll stick to my
AFC South.
Putting them at 4 and 13 and their over under being at 8.5. I cannot support the record I'm predicting them to have and not bet the under.
Yeah. Titans all day. Honestly, I will probably make a big play on the Titans.
Did their line move? Did I say?
I think you said 9.5.
9.5. So it went up half a game.
I
wouldn't touch them. I would only take the unders on both the bottom two teams.
What about the Colts?
I don't think I would touch it. I like them, but I don't think I would like them enough just to take my money.
Yeah. AFC West. I'm gonna look into the Raiders line. If it is 8.5, I'll play the Raiders.
So I'm on FanDuel Sportsbook right now. Denver's a 9.5, so they dropped half a game. I wouldn't touch that. The Chargers are at 10 still. I wouldn't touch that. That's a tough number.
Raiders are at 8.5.
Kansas City's at 10.5. I wouldn't touch that. I'm afraid without Tyreek Hill, like they lose Tyreek Hill.
Yeah. No,
and they replace him with Mecole Hardman and Juju
I
Smith-Schuster.
I have Patrick Mahomes winning 11 games.
Yeah.
So,
And
yeah,
and they don't have Tyrann Mathieu on the defense anymore.
I mean, Raiders are 8.5 with a minus 115 on the overs. Um, I'm in.
Yeah. Yeah. That's almost a lock to me.
Yep.
Like if I had to stamp bang on the Raiders over.
All right. Well, that does
What do
it.
they call them? Slam it.
Yeah, that
Slam
does it
that
for the
bet.
AFC. I this was good. So I think we're gonna pick up on the NFC Monday.
Yeah.
We'll figure out what time. But appreciate you coming on. This was a good time,
Yeah, no
and
problem.
I think
Maybe we do baseball next season.
I'm in. Let's go. I think we can definitely pull in a couple others too on baseball, but
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
that's
I probably
to
could have
me
pulled in a few for football if it
to me
wasn't as short notice.
uh, baseball requires so much more
Oh, it's
investigation.
162
Yeah.
games instead of 17.
Yep. Yep. All right. Well, appreciate it. Anybody in the chat, thanks for stopping in. Probably do some edits on here. I'm gonna edit out that poop break, and then we'll, we'll get this posted. But thanks everybody. Thank you, Brad. Have a good evening.
No problem. See ya.